back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Atlanta Cast Network presents Ask Jon Doe, where no question is a stupid question. And today we're talking about more to life. So without further ado, I bring to you Mr. Jon Doe.
Man, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Man, most of life off of the more to life. Man, so much ground to cover. What's happening, sisters and brothers and good people from all over, whatever. Just know we all equal. The name of the show is Ask Jon Doe. Got a phone number on the screen if you want to call me so you can do a thing. 770-852-0569. Give me a question. It's worth my time. Hey, check this out. I know a lot of y'all wasn't here for some of the earlier episodes, and it's a lot of ground that I can catch you up with, but that could be a whole nother show. You know what I mean? I might make a show out of that, but we done covered everything from politics, sports, gangs, prostitution, drugs, and some of everything else aside of partying in the club, man. Look, we got a lot of things we could discuss, but I chose to make this one the 3 time over version of the original episode, which was life, man. Look, you want to catch up to where we at now, you got to check those out. I mean, we all got stake in the subject. This is for the general public. This is life, y'all. We all involved. So if anybody got a question for me, you just want to throw it on the screen, type it in so we can do our thing. Again, you got a question about life, you want to go ahead and call in, hit that number, and we can take it from there. So before I turn this into something, turn to basically just Jon Doe running off at the mouth. Now, we got a lot of things happening in the world right now that are directly affecting our overall quality of life as we speak. Of course, we all aware of that, right? Yeah, we got wars going on, sure. Gas prices higher than all of y'all. Cool. Now, it looks like with this thing we call life and our jobs and these global conditions, mind you, there's still people in quarantine right now can't come outside or they can get that whooping. You understand? It is real. It is real. It's real. It's real. So we got this freedom aspect that came up in some of the earlier episodes, particularly the episode prior to this one. We discussed freedom a little bit and what that looks like and can look like and barely touched the surface of that. You know what I mean? I can't give you no real definition on where we landed on that notion because it's still a wide open door. That's why we talking about life some more. Name of the show is Ask Jon Doe. If you want me to keep on going, we're going to keep this thing rolling if you don't have nothing for me. So here it is. We're looking at life 2022. Spring is underway. You know what I'm saying? It's time to get the cobwebs out the closet and spring cleaning is underway. And I want to make this one of the things I want to put on the forefront of everybody's brain while I'm kicking this game is getting organized. Fun fact, I was just a part of a really interesting conversation that ended up being a direct reflection of that. You know what I mean? So might as well factor that into this life conversation because trust me, if we ain't organized, that means we a mess. For real. If we ain't on our ball, that means we gonna fall. So staying organized is the key to it all. We all got a lot to manage. Things is happening quick and we got to stay on our shit. So every aspect of organization and focus and balances that we can muster up is certainly good tools to have in your hand while you carrying out this life thing. You understand? Now, for everybody out there who may not be as organized or had a desire to be, it can be overwhelming, of course, on a lot of levels when we don't know where to start. When we trying to dig up about this hole we don't put ourselves in, the first thing we want to do is grab the shovel. So hey, we're looking at our mindset and the way we go about things and how we had a desire to make the outcome be what we want it to be. Our approach is more than 100% of the outcome of a lot of the stuff that we entertain. And of course, everybody's flow is different. Some of us say haste make waste, and even then at the same time, turtles win races. You know what I mean? So by the time we get a real look at where we understand in this life force plan, whether we already got a mission undergoing, you're going to end up yourself a part of a lot of different layers of agendas and objectives that's been put in your lap way before we ended up on this internet, which is also a topic of the Ask Jon Doe show. Check out the internet episode, put you up on some 3D game, or how, this matrix really got us all together in a way to really help us get the most of life out this more to life episode. You know, we got the ability to be connected in real time. You can hit me on the line and let me know what's on your mind. You know what I mean? It wasn't that long ago where you had to write out a letter. You know what I'm saying? And where's the stamp? And you got to walk to the mailbox or the post office or whatever and all the rest. You know, yada yada. Hey man, shoot, we got so much access to instant information and real time record time, and we overwhelmed with so many insightful levels when it comes to the healing aspects of our existence to get the most out of life, of course, because that's the whole point of this episode. When it comes to things like Reiki, meditation, and things to satisfy that type of situation, prayers, and so forth, you know what I mean? You could Google a prayer right about now. You got your phone in your hand if you had a desire to express yourself under that fashion versus some time ago where if you ain't had that book or have it in your spirit by becoming versed and practicing, which is a part of being organized and balanced to be able to express yourself realistically, you know, or accurately when it comes to, you know, the notions that I'm making reference to. Hey, man, we got a lot of things that we can do. We're stronger than what we realize. Of course, that's another door I want to open up when it comes to getting the most out of life, recognizing our strengths. A lot of times, recognizing our strengths come with having the courage to acknowledge our weaknesses and not cower in the face of that. A lot of times, when we in the opportunity to challenge ourselves, is what it ultimately boiled down to be. You know what I mean? Some people can't read that damn good. I can't talk that straight half the time because I got so much on my mind. But opportunities like this give me the nerve to exercise that craft and being able to articulate ourselves. You know, and actually, the whole point is to gain more strength in that area. You know what I mean? Or whatever that looks like. Of course, some of us will say, "Hey, man, that's my good friend, and it's okay. They just can't read that doggone good." But until they had a desire to, ain't nothing else we could say or do. And that's where the personal responsibility and so many different levels of accountability show up that literally land in our lap. That can ultimately be the same way to helping us get the most out of life. Again, because that's the whole name of this episode. And the show's Ask John Doe, brought to you by Atlanta Cast Network. Hey, where that dog number at? Yeah, call that. Cool. Chat box is open. Let's get a good thing going. So, with all that being said, we got the most out of life, right? This thing we call life, it makes you wonder, what is life? You know, you say, okay, well, if I want to get the most out of it, at least I need to understand what the hell this is. I really can't tell you what it is, but at least I want to do is help tip over the first domino, open them that door so we have it on our minds so we can explore it even more. Now he's saying, well, I'm alive, I'm doing just fine, and whatever that looked like in real time. Some of us think about life, think about our families and the things that our life is made of and how that affects our overall sense of existence. You know, some of us have work lives that are better than our family lives. You know, a lot of us live multiple lives at the same time. You know what I mean? There's levels and layers to this scenario. I don't need to comb through them all, but I think y'all sharp enough to get it, especially for those who've been around for the journey and stuff with it. So here it is to get the most out of life, understanding that we are not our jobs and we are not our feelings. We are not our mindset a lot of times. It make us think about, well, shit, what am I doing? Why am I here? You know, to get the most out of life is closer to we getting to taking it upon ourselves to really answer that question. You know, that question doesn't come with clear definition, but there are things that are for sure that complement us getting the most of this thing we call life that literally comes with the most entry level notions that are so elementary rooted and simplicity, you know, and simplistic. You see, that's that talking shit I was telling you about right there. So, you know, and simplicities and what have you and so forth. It comes to like, man, to get the most out of what I have is to a lot of times recognize what do I have and what is in it. Well, shoot, I got $10 to, you know what I'm saying, being a millionaire when there's millionaires jumping off of the invisible bridge because of some whole other shit. And we say, oh man, but Susie was so well to do. You know what I mean? What would make her, you know, XYZ? And it's like, hey, yeah, well, what are we really experiencing here? You know, there's a 10-year-old little boy in the middle and halfway around the world somewhere that's making $1 million right now by playing with toys online.
First caller,
You understand? So let's make it make sense, y'all. Let's run it. Thank you for the call, caller. What you got for me? Let's push it.
Hey man, I just came in here, man. I don't know, you just popped up on my thing. And I like your show. I like the look, everything, and you know what I mean. You got me from the first sentence you were saying because it was resonating with me. You know what I mean? Like,
Solid.
shoot, man, the words get in the way sometimes, and I think that's the problem that we have as a people. But I don't even know if I'm on the right track. But I'm gonna say this: I think that communication is the key, and we need to slow down and relax and actually let it happen and let the communication happen. So am I on the right track? I'm asking you.
Yes, man. So certainly, man. I'll certainly be impatient with the notion to pick up where you're coming from, but absolutely. Again, the name of the show is Ask John Doe, but I want to hear from y'all more than I want y'all to hear me talk. And so we could open up these doors of communication, like you just expressed, Brother Ben. Thank you for that, making us highlight that. You know what I'm saying? Exclamation mark communication, because the more we have the gall, if you can, and the nerve to make these sensitive or what show up as sensitive subjects. They're only sensitive because they're going untreated. You know what I mean? Type of topics to where, man, if we don't talk about it, we gonna fester in that hurt and that confusion and misunderstanding because we all overconfident in our ability to understand things. Everybody to your left or right is the smartest person. Of course, we all got it all figured out. We all know what to do till it's time to make
Right.
choices. We all know how to lead until it's time to be a leader. Everybody a boss to the time to take charge. So, when it comes to communicating, it's like, how do we keep ourselves in this open realm of exchanging information for better or for worse without becoming egotistically overdriven to
Well,
ultimately block out what, what I'm saying? Because it's a highway, it's an exchange. Okay, you go ahead. I want you to finish your point while I finish mine because I already had this thing on, coming off my teeth.
respectfully,
Go
I
ahead,
didn't
brother.
want to cut you off, but I just wanted to add to what
Yes,
you were saying. Like,
certainly,
and
please. This is for all of us. Go ahead.
one of the key ingredients I think is patience. Like, I feel like
Ooh,
as a people have lost that ingredient. We've lost the
yeah,
ingredient to, first of all, have patience to actually listen to one, and then
yes,
lost patience to actually take your time when you're actually trying to explain your side of it. And then
yeah,
maybe if we did a little bit of that, we would get some more understanding because that's all people really want. In the end of the day, I'm thinking is
yes.
some understanding. Like everybody want to be understood, right?
Certainly. Everybody needs to be understood. Even when it's the least
Yeah.
understandable circumstances, that's when we need to be our most understanding. And that's why I made reference to our egos and things along those lines. Because somebody will say something that we can honestly argue and say, this is some stupid shit. I don't want to hear this anymore. But having the appetite for reality to take into consideration, like, you know what, this is an opportunity for all of us to grow in that sense, for conversation's sake and to exercise the tools like you described, like patience. A lot of times grace and respect complement patience to where, again, this is all
Like
in respect to more to life and getting the most of life. Go
it's like
ahead.
we
What you saying?
grow together. It's like we forgot
Yeah.
we got to grow together. We in this
Yes.
together. Like we are together.
Together, capital letters.
Me and
Yes,
you
we are.
on the phone. We are together right now, and it's
We
like we
here. Hey, this is a real thing.
together. People got so much to say, but don't have time to stop their mouth to listen. And I think that's
Yes.
that's what people need to practice, like, and or we
Yes.
need to educate the youth because it's all about the youth at the end
Yeah.
of the day as well. You know what I mean? Like we
All
gotta
the
start
above.
teaching youth so that they don't make the same mistakes that we're out here making right now. Because I see it as a situation of us not really listening to each other. At the end of the day, if I made it
Yes.
real simple, we're not really listening. We hearing, but we're not
Yeah.
listening.
Yeah, we listen long enough a lot of times to be patient enough to wait on our turn to talk. We're not listening to understand, you know what I'm saying? We hearing a lot of times, and being able to be that type of accurate within ourselves, again, is a part of that call for accountability that I made reference to when I opened up the show. How we all have stake in this matter. And when it comes to patience and grace and things along those lines, yeah, that could give us that room to be that much more reserved and patient, alike to be able to actually listen without already placing our opinions and judgments and what have you, why never hear each other loud and clear. I really appreciate that notion, my brother. Definitely compliment the topic and a lot more to come in a lot of ways, especially when it comes to being able to spread that practice to the youth because they need to be exposed to it to understand it's the truth. For real.
Right,
I love that
right.
part.
Let me ask you,
It's
like,
real.
what's the name, man? Because I mean, I'm gonna tell you this, man. Like, you have a real
Yes.
familiar look, and and I feel like this is a safe space to really get across my ideas without being demonized. That I had something to say, and
Uh-huh.
like I feel like the conversation that we have right now is something
Yes.
that I might be demonized on other channels. So right now, I'm telling you that I'm hitting the like
Shine on
button,
me, man.
I'm hitting the subscribe button. I'm
Respect.
following. I want to see this grow. Whatever you doing right now. And what's your name? Because I swear I've seen you before on some of my shows and different things that I watch. You look like this actor that I be seeing pop up in different things and stuff. I could be. I know I'm tripping, right? But you look like you be acting in some of the shows I be watching and stuff, man. Like and then your discernment is something to we all need this, man. I'm gonna support this channel. I'm letting you know right now. I'm hitting the like button. I'm hitting the subscribe button, and I'm gonna hit the share button as well. I'm gonna share this on my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram. I'm gonna share this, man. Just call me what is it? Just call me Mr. Jon Doe supporter, and I'm gonna let you get to your next caller,
Oh
man. I ain't gonna
man.
take much of your
That's
time,
solid,
man.
man. I really appreciate that,
Come
man.
on,
That's
man.
really one message in.
You solid.
Thank
I
you,
Yes,
can
caller.
tell
sir.
you.
Yes, sir.
I
Thank you,
can
caller.
tell you solid. Like,
Thank you for all that, man. And then some, man. And for those out there, just know this is a real thing happening in real time. Name of the show is Ask John Doe. You really just don't want to hear me run off at the mouth and kick what's on my mind. I'm doing this for us. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, my name is on the show, but this is for us. So to go forward with all that was just expressed, man, really warming notions. And, hey, here we are to take that into more to life. Again, when it comes to the thing we call life, I'm in the warming and literally a version of being flattered to be able to be in the mental spiritual position to let myself from a personal aspect to be this type of vulnerable for us. You know what I mean? Because this is bigger than me to be able to have these type of conversations on the fly in real time for the world to keep these notions from being suppressed and carried on in this mismanaged way to the absolute best of our ability. And if anybody out there could think of ways that I could help sharpen up some of these notions that I'm sharing, which is a lot of part of the reason, man, I need some of this old game too. I'm full of my wealth, so I'm gonna share my gold with y'all for the world, man. You give me some gold back. Now we're golden. Let's do that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna reinvest in you. But that reminds me of being in this creative force, this thing we call life in this world. We so overwhelmed with, man, we got things like the internet, and of course, some of us have our favorite TV shows. We got our favorite sports teams, and a lot of that was covered in earlier episodes that bring me back to the things that we consider our fabrics of life. Just to know for me to you and wherever else you want to do with it from there, you are not bound to that fabric of life because that fabric is on the outside of you. You know what I mean? You can't eat the shirt that you're wearing. So if you're that favorite, the person that had them, my favorite team, and we have to have all the jerseys and all the shoes, all that's cool too. But when it comes to this fabric of life that I'm discussing, it's about playing for your team, you being a team player yourself. You know, it's easy to holler at the TV during the doggone basketball game, talking about the refs treating other teams unfairly, and you know what I'm saying, these motherfuckers cheating, and so on and so forth. That come down to, hey man, are you rooting for yourself in that same manner, that same fashion? Are you rooting for your home team, your family team, in that same mat? You know what I'm saying? You wearing your last name like you wearing the doggone Lakers jersey. That's what I'm saying. So we're looking at our quality of life and our fabric of life and being able to pass on these notions of exercising this game and not making it taboo and lame so we can give it to our young ones so they can set themselves up for better choices than what we had access to and had to learn things the hard way. I mean, we got a lot of ground we can cover with that notion alone. That should be a whole nother episode, but it's definitely in direct support of getting the most of life, which is the extension of this more to life segment. So here it is, talking about being a creator. I'm gonna get fun fact. I'm gonna give y'all a fun nerd history fact. We got our boy Alfred Nobel. Y'all might know him and don't know you know him from the Nobel Prize, right? Yeah, Nobel Prize, Nobel Peace Prize, Nobel Science Initiative, yada yada. Well, he was a scientist himself. And over 100 years ago, he's the man that's responsible for creating dynamite, blasting caps, and some more. During the time of his convention, he like really took off with DuPont and all the rest. You heard of DuPont, what are they, right? Right, and going forward, right? So his invention and his creation was used to blast mountains and stuff like that. It blazed the way for railroads, and of course, you see it in the cowboy movies. That's when things were bumping at its prime, and obviously a really disruptive time. And it was said that, of course, it was said because I wasn't there, just to be fair, but it was said that he, had literally felt like kind of like concerned for the sake of the world because his creation honestly was being used in ways that like damn, he never could have foresaw that his what used to be a helpful creation has took on such a destructive, undertone because it is destructive shit. It is what it is. And that's what helped accelerate his notion for being, an advocate for peace and things along those lines and reward those who come up with peaceful and ultimately helpful creations and ideas. So that brings me back to coming back forward to what does the most of life look like? What can the most of life look like? Because for a lot of us, and at one point in my journey, include myself, the most of life was looking like running up and down the street in the neighborhood and possibly going to the party, just hoping that nobody had to die. Or if they did, that was probably the whole reason why the party was thrown, type of realities that's going on. To where it's like, are we really living or are we existing or are we actually making choices that support and getting the most of life outside of even considering what life is or how fragile it is? That could think about, man, time. Let us think about time in itself. For everybody in their 30s and up can honestly look back and be like, damn, I used to think people in their 30s was grown. I thought they were adults and had it all figured out what's going on. I used to call them sir and ma'am and things along those lines. Or for those who was raised in that respect, gonna find out the motherfuckers they still 10 a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? So it make you really, really look at your grand scope of what I thought this thing is, or what I feel like it was, or what I was told and taught it is and was. And of course, life is what I'm talking about instead of being too vague. I'm about to say the subject. This thing called life, what it's made of, and why it even, am I alive to go to work this 9 to 5 for somebody who don't care nothing about me that's about to fire me in 4 minutes? Come on, man. Is that why we were put here? Pay attention. So we looking at getting the most of life. I mean, if we don't fall into this social conditioning that's been laid out in front of you, it's like if you ain't walking that windy road confusion that's been paved out for you, you're not considered a good person. You're not doing the right thing. You know what I mean? A lot of entrepreneurs are challenged with that reality because the people around them don't see the vision and they're telling them, nah, if I was you, I wouldn't because you're not me. That's why you're saying that type of reality. So we're like, what are we really doing? So with our time, our energy, and our overall collective to support each other to where we got ourselves at such a self-destructive, divided state that literally leave a bad taste in my mouth to wonder why, I even make reference to these realms. That's me personally, but this ain't about me. But there are many of those out here that really get a glimpse where we're coming from. That's why some of the people with the coldest game don't even speak half the time because they know it's falling on dumb ears. To the degree, that's one more reason why we should express these notions more for those who know we got more to explain and explore. Please put that on the screen. What's that on the screen?
What's been the thing you lean on when life gets hard?
Well, life gets hard. I don't even see life getting hard. I see life showing me opportunities and showing me ways where I could get sharper, better, faster. Or I look at life a lot of times when the simple brain will call it hard, is just challenging opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Literally, these are not obstacles anymore. These are exercises in this phase. You know what I mean? Heart is in the hands who's holding it. You know, your heart may not be my heart. You know, some people think life is hard because they in traffic and ain't even doing shit. You just sitting there getting mad at all cars not going nowhere. And that's stressful. You know, so what's hard? Let's be honest. A lot of the things that we call hard about life are these self-inflicted notions that I made reference to earlier in this notion. Earlier in this segment and in prior episodes when hard is as weak as you are, really. Because my heart would never be your heart. If I'm like, man, life is hard, you've probably been dead a few times. So it's like, depending on who you're talking to. And that's why we have the better responsibility of communicating in the most efficient way that we can to those who are around us, because we could throw wide open statements out there like that about how hard things are, and we to our left and right, we like, sure is. Without recognizing that ain't nobody doing shit about it is the only reason why it's hard. You know, ain't nobody taking that initiative to stand up and be like, wait a minute, if we all work together and lift it up, we could carry this stuff. You know what I mean? But we got person to our left and right, oh, it's heavy. Ooh, my leg hurt. You know, and all the rest of that is like, man, that's not the energy we need to be putting into nothing. We gonna move it or not. You know what I'm saying? Because adrenaline get to pumping, ain't no telling what you could have bumping. And that's where we at in this free world, or this thing we call life, where a lot of us got a glimpse of who we really are in a way that we ain't even realize that's who we've been this whole damn time because off of quarantine. Let me say that one more time. A lot of us got a glimpse into who we are and who we've been this whole damn time due to quarantine. Sitting your ass down somewhere. Now you know who your spouse is and yourself and how y'all correspond with each other, because now you actually got to live and deal with each other and not running off to work. You're not at the party or the club. Now you actually got to be alive. Who are you when you sitting still? Because all the rest of this outside shit that we signed ourselves up for is not a requirement. By design, yes, you have to go to work, but can't nobody make you. But you still got to do things to exist and still be a part of this life force. What you gonna do? If everybody factory closed, like it actually easily can, due to the internet episode. Check out the internet episode. We all wired and hooked up to a click of a button. For real. It's a 12-year-old little girl somewhere around the cord that can shut this whole shit down off her iPad. It's not a game. It's a question on the screen. Did you read that for me?
Soldier says, do we only get one chance to get this thing called life right, or will we get a do-over in another life?
It's a lot of ways to look at that. We only get one chance if that's what we believe. And if we do think we only got one chance, what's keeping us from making absolute best of that chance? The best of things don't come with destructive forces and destructive hands. How can you build being destructive? So let's say, hey, if I only got one shot and I really want to get the best of it, why am I being hurtful? Or why am I allowing others to hurt me? None of that sound like getting the best or the most or more out of any damn thing in any situation, let alone life. To come back to you talking about, do we get more than one chance? Well, if we have descendants, if we have, the family structure that's actually torn, and we have the communication networks that are frayed, repaired and rebuilt into being what we have the power to exercise, then yeah, we do get multiple chances because we can pass down these tools like the brother was talking about earlier. I'm assuming brother was talking about earlier about being able to pass it down to the youth. So yeah, we live more than once because the energy don't die. It's this meat suit that we wearing that we put too much confidence in that got us behaving the way we behaving off of our feelings, hooking up with each other for a real good feeling, and without understanding that procreation is the grand design. That's what we're here for. We're not fucking because it's fun. Reality, that's you're an animal. I made reference to that in some of the earlier episodes. Ideally, the last episode, with the mortal life notion being that, hey man, we got, we got a lot of ground to cover in this animal kingdom to recognize our position. Because right now we slipping, humankind tripping. That's just for real. We littering like none else. You know what I mean? We the most hurtful and disrespectful versions of ourselves, to where we normalize being bad bitches and whatever a real not or whatever a real nigga is nowadays. You know what I'm saying? It's like I guess that means I got to be the most hurtful version of myself to be socially accepted. You know, if we're not using the most degrading words and subjecting ourselves to the most offensive gestures that a human being can expose themselves to, I'm not real type of conditioning that we practicing, that we passing, and it's like who's going to have enough sense to collectively say, collectively we had the power to really change the narrative. I ain't sharing nothing with you. It ain't too much more than people that are considered extremists have shared. You know what I'm saying? I want to make reference to Malcolm X and Brother Farrakhan. Thank you for being the rooted soldiers that y'all are being for the human race and not making it complexion based. And that's the thing that we got to deal with when it comes to listening and hearing and being understood. Is that before you able to consider or take into consideration the words that I'm coming out of my mouth and on behalf of the whole damn globe, you got to look at my skin color first. You know, these are the kind of conversations I want us all to be able to close our eyes and see. Then we can level the playing field, and it's fair. You know, it's all fair. What's that on the screen for us, man? So we put this on the table for us.
All right. Corey Howell says, what is the most thing?
What's up, Corey?
He says, what if most things we value in life are meaningless? And why is it so hard to figure out our purpose in this life? Good question.
You know, the things that we entertain that show up as meaningless is because we may not be living in our purpose. So it has no significance. Like working a job that you know damn well you ain't happy in, you faking and chumming with these sucker ass people and attempting to coexist in a way that you know damn well all you want to do is ride your skateboard type of shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's literally the sad way of getting the most of life. So when it comes to this trap that we've been set up in, when it comes to, yeah, we have to have a roof over our head, sure. And having a roof over our head comes with the expenses and the monetary system that's been put into place, which is a conversation in an episode that I had prior to talking money, y'all. Of course, you think I'm gonna get this far in the game, talk about life, and I ain't saying about no damn money. Man, you tripping. You need to see that, by the way. We're about to get on money train, right? So saying that to say that, you know, we got bills to pay, we got expenses pay. So where we have the ideology that if I don't have money, then I can't live. Anybody seeing how this could get wavy for most of us at this point? Because we so conditioned to be like, I'm chasing the bag, I'm chasing the bag. Are you living though? Are you alive? Let's make it make sense. Because when you get that bag, what we do, we train to blow it, throw it in the air. You know what I'm saying? Hey, our favorite song come on. Guess what? It's a fistful of ones in the air right now. Because that's what, you know, again, life. We live it. It was fun. It was exhilarating. Yeah. But at what price? The monetary price, you know, the actual living soul price. Yeah. I mean, it's all price is price. Money. Follow the money conversation. This part will make even more sense. Watch the money episode, then come back and watch this one. Fast forward to this part if you got to, and then you'll be like, oh shit, now I see why he said what he's saying. So saying that to say that, to finish out the rest of the question, when it comes to things being meaningless, in addition to actually doing what our purpose is, that comes with allowing, you know, being able to allow ourselves to be who we are or have been in our most innocent state. And that is often associated with our child-like presence. Because a lot of times in our youngest years, before we overwhelmed with the worldly stuff and being told you got to go to work, got to go to college, so you can end up in debt to go to work, pay the job to pay the debt, and all the rest of that stuff, and get your credit right. All you want to do is color. All you want to do is ride your skateboard. You know what I'm saying? All you want to do is the thing that you did because that's what you were drawn to, or that's what you were exposed to. All you want to do is fix stuff, or you know, you may have wanted to be a nurse or whatever that is. All you want to do is help people. So that puts you in the arena to be a doctor. You know, and there is a point in all of our lives when we are impressionable and vulnerable enough to the stuff to where we overwhelmed with the stuff that could either call us to push us closer to our purpose or take us further away from because now we caught up in the people sheeple shit. This is the segue into the matrix. Watch all three of them if you need to finish that sentence for me. Please, what's that on the screen, man?
That's our definition of the week. The word is alive. And it says
Alive. Come
in a
on.
state of action, in
Action.
force or
It's a verb.
operation, aka active.
Active.
Force,
Doing
force,
what?
operation, active. That's deep now.
Yeah. Active. So active doing what? Yeah. A living thing is a moving thing. For real. You just peep the science to it. Activity is a sign of liveliness. And so if we active, what are we actively doing? You know, it's not a matter of in what space and time, which is another show to come, but in the now, we are active, right? All of us are activated. You see what I'm saying? We charge it up. You know what I'm saying? We are electrical beings. Yes, we are. You know, we are powerful. And here it is. If it was inactive, that means there is no charge. There's no, common sense things that come with the, you know, two sides to the coin. Some will argue it's three, but that's a whole nother thing I can get going. So here it is, finding our purpose, living in our purpose, trusting ourselves versus cursing ourselves with other people's indecision. And we look to the left and right, we realize that as much as everybody got to figure it out to our left or right, really, we really collectively don't know shit. Because apparently, having the internet, having trillions of dollars in circulation, having what could be considered the most advanced technology to date, we still arguing over stupid stuff. We still ain't figured out how to clean up these oceans that we killing, and we still hurtfully and disrespectful to each other to have these fragmented relationships. You know what I'm saying? We hooking up with one person to the left and right, and we can't sit down and figure out where we stand in this grand scale of existence. You mean to tell me we all so smart, but we still at war with ourselves and each other? What's missing here? Let's make it make sense. You mean to tell me out of the trillions of dollars in circulation and all the health clinics and the internet information that we got access to, we still beefing over bullshit? You know, we still sharing fight videos and celebrating a drive-by. You know what I'm saying? I see some really interesting things, and I call it interesting because there are far more hurtful names I could call it. But I find it interesting as I continue to grow how being in environments where somebody could end up literally getting straight blown away, and we celebrating it like, yeah, 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 yeah. I say we because what I'm saying we the people would say, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And but I'm looking like that could easily be you, or you and me and all of this. And you mean to tell me we would be okay with watching the opposition, as is known to be called today, to be celebrated? Yeah, yeah, that's what they. I mean, that's what we practicing. I mean, we really want to be a part of that. Let's be for real. And don't think those energies don't shape our decision making processes in the now. How's that setting us up for better choices in the future? The answer is clear. We have an opportunity to stop and really pause right here. And thank you for the person who called and everybody who had anything to say in the chats that I still need to catch up with, and whoever still got their mouths and wheels spinning, processing this information. And for the future viewers to come across this too, I applaud and I appreciate you for taking this time out of your life to hang out with me for this hour, before you set yourself up for the rest of your day and the rest of your real life, and take a real good look at where you at with it and where you want to go with it. But even before you go outside, because it's that journey inside where we need to take the most intimate steps. And from there, we can find out that all of us playing fair. You know what I'm saying, man? If we could really learn that, man, look, your skin ain't no more softer or tougher or whatever that is. My knuckles good to be ashy. So it's like how it is to where we got all this information, we got all this access, we got all this brilliance around us, but we still at war with ourselves and each other. And we don't think we tripped. We don't think we've been sucked into the wrong side of the flow. Pay attention, y'all. This is your life. And if you really want to make the best of it, what would it hurt to practice the best of things? The hell I want to be arguing with you for? So I'm not, you know what I'm saying? What I want to have to hurt you for. So that's where that Mr. Nice Guy stuff come into, it sound corny and cliche. What if we all really just put down our bullshit today and activated the choice like, you know what, I'm gonna do everything I can to be the most helpful and respectful person to my left hand right. You really think half this stuff would exist? You really think we not being divided on purpose amongst ourselves or half of ourselves? And I'm not just talking about skin color. I'm talking about mankind because there's power in that division. Because right now you are a direct reflection of somebody else's decision. I am too. We living in this fragmented reality to where if we don't have control, that means we vulnerable to the flow of a whole force of things that's happening within us and around us that we being undereducated or not even having the courage to discuss, like it was brought up in the earlier conversations of this show, to where it's like, man, what the hell am I been? What am I doing? What am I really doing? I go to work every day. You know what I'm saying? The wife and kids have whatever they need and whatever that is. I drive the car of my dreams. I live in a house that I imagine, whatever, but I am not happy. Come on, man. Come on. Pay attention. Do you have to experience that to figure it out for yourself? But all the while, we still have work to do. We still got to exist. So, how do we get the most out of life? To sum it all up, so to speak, I could see for a lot of our younger people is letting down their invisible walls and being open to receiving information and discussing whatever they think life is with our most seasoned, the veterans of this life, which is our older people. You know what I'm saying? Is really doing what we can to bridge that gap between the young and the old. You know, with that being said, our younger people think they know it all and they never did shit. I was certainly one of them. And a lot of us have been, and that's what let us grow up into the people that we are and are not now. But we're all still very much a part of this notion. To where the older community, they done been through and seen and did so much to a lot of their conversations come with like, dog, it is not that stressful. Man, it's too easy. Time flies. You know what I'm saying? Love, peace, you know what I'm saying, and all the rest of that type of stuff. Just sit down somewhere, chill, because it's not as stressful as we've been making it type of shit. Because there is that day. So some of us ready. Some of us gonna be a surprise. We're all leaning over sideways with X's on our eyes and be like, man, did I live a life of peace or did I live a life of pain? Because that's all you really got. Your smiles and your tears. All the rest of this shit ain't never even yours. You know what I'm saying? The decisions that we're making is only a byproduct of the stuff that was put in front of us. If we wasn't exposed to all this human bullshit that we created for ourselves and on behalf of ourselves, what would we choose? What would we do? We would probably be sitting somewhere in the garden eating fruit off of grass like we designed to do, chilling. You know what I'm saying? Probably ready to throw a party. Thank you for that question that was on screen. I'm assuming that was a question that could have been a statement. But, of course, I'm trying to wrap it up for us in real time. So it's like, here it is. Our older community, if anybody got it figured out, we need to be talking to them about what they learned. And what they learned is a reflection a lot of times of bad decision making motherfuckers that came before them. So yeah, we do have to trust in the youthfulness of our young ones to be able to see past these decisions and to be able to take that information and raise it one so they can take care of our old asses. You know what I mean? So if there is a one hand that has to watch the other. And that is literally coming together in this arena that we call life that none of us agreed to be here. You didn't say you wanted to be here no more than I did. And now that we here, why are we doing this dumb shit that we doing? Make it make sense. Only because somebody told me to a lot of times is what the answer would be. Why did they tell you to do that? Because it serves their agenda. Who are they? That is a question that only some of us can answer if we had a desire to find the fuck out. But saying that to say that is, who are you in this thing we call life? Are you a helper or a hurter? Do you want to help? Do you want to hurt? If there's an honest answer to that question, you have the window, a wide open door into who you really have been and want to be. Because other than that, whatever you do, Some of the most helpful decisions can ultimately cause the most hurt. Like some of the most hurtful decisions can cause the most help. I can make it even more sense with going to Mr. Nobel to the reason why sometimes if you break a finger, you have to re-break it to make it set into place. There's power in that pain. You know what I mean? But we got to be built for it because there's a lot of acts of care and grace that could have prevented these things from being broken and damaged to this degree. Now, what do? We go through the pain of fixing it, or we stay in the suffering, accountability, and the things along those lines is what I make reference to. I could keep going backwards to bring it back forward, but I love this part, y'all. The name of the show is Ask Jon Doe. Thank you for the questions and comments on the screen and everybody who has something to say, things to do. What's that on the screen so I can say what we got? So I can answer this. We say what we got to say. What's that on the screen? Yeah,
What do you do to make changes?
yeah. Changes in what? You know what I mean? That's a total hypothetical, wide open question. You know, and I want all of us individually, for those who participate and for those who see it in the future, to take that consideration to heart, truly to heart. What do we do to make changes? The first thing to do to make changes is to have to recognize where we at. It's like saying where I want to go on. I was like, I want a vacation, but where do I want to go? You know, I need to change the scenery. Well, from what to what? Because if we don't change our attitude and our mindset, we're only going to take ourselves with us, which is a very, very, very common scenario. Like, which is the reason why a lot of us can effortlessly jump from relationship to relationship to relationship to find ourselves falling under these similar patterns because we took ourselves with us. So change is only as powerful as the practices that we implement. So it comes to being organized, like I was discussing earlier, you know, and changing these gears to really putting ourselves in the best position to the best of our ability. And to make changes is to be in the arena of those who accept our change. Because none of us are who we were when we were our youngest unless we've avoided a lot of these really intimate steps of growth, which is really easy to do with all the distractions that are in our lap, on our phone, in our ear. We got people dumb enough around us to believe us and allow us to conduct ourselves in a way that we know is so far believe, you know, saying it's so far outside of what's believable or our highest self to where we've normalized this confusion because they just confused too. It's easy. Stick your head in the sand like the ostrich. You don't have to pay attention to how you treat people in response to how you feel like people is treating you. Let's make it make sense. It's easy. You know, why is this thing we call life so damn hard? Because we made it that way. So let's say we take the life to raise that to more to life and we bringing that in to get the most to life. I have the confidence to share with all of us right now to get the most out of life is to make things easy. We have that power to do it. We can make it easy. How can we make it easy? Use the tools that was introduced in the earlier part of this show. Communicate for one, because we have to be able to help each other understand what's in our left or our right hand to be able to coexist. You know, we have to be able to express ourselves, which is a segue into censorship and the reason why we've been divided to this degree so we don't communicate with one another. We stay at odds, we stay divided, we stay weak. So we don't communicate. We don't say that, oh, this is offensive, or this is hurtful, and this is conversation. That's what it is. And was offensive and hurtful to you doesn't mean it's offensive and hurtful to me or anybody else, because that's where that taboo foolishness come into play. Be as you are, call it like you see it, go for what you know. That's the segue to respect. Conducting ourselves in a way where whatever I'm doing is saying it ain't geared towards sticking my foot out in front of nobody to messing up your flow. I've made reference to that realm before. That ain't got nothing to do with you. And nothing that I'm doing is to mess your day up. And if, in result, like that dynamite conversation, something I've created is messing up your day, I have to be in position to be able to hear you. You know what I mean? And maybe I could work on things like being an advocate for peace and not being hard headed because the business sense and thinking about all the money I could make from blowing up shit because I'm causing more destruction than I am aiding the building. That is a responsibility that we all bear. You understand that? We all bear that responsibility. If we're not working together, we're working against each other. If it's not a part of the solution, it's part of the problem. How can we be a part of, excuse me, that's that talking stuff I was talking about. How can we be a part of the solution if we don't even know what we're trying to solve? We could all be working on the same thing, several different ways, may have several different angles to trying to achieve the same goal, but we can't even damn talk because of the conditions that we subjected to. Why is this so hard? Because we made it that way. Man, I've gained some of the most valuable oversights from people in such less than desirable position. At least that's what it looks like, because that's my attitude in that sense. Some will call them homeless or bums. You know what I'm saying? That have taught me some of the most beautiful things about being a person and just being alive. You know, they say it's a flash. Believe me, I'm an advocate for not giving a damn. But I know in the realm of respect, you know, there are some things that I do not need to entertain that could ultimately cause, you know, things to be even more complicated than what they are to the absolute best of my ability. But we still had a human element. Yes, we are emotional creatures, you know what I'm saying, trying to live out this human experience. We have feelings, and these feelings are only indicators. We are not our feelings. Know that you are not the way you feel. If you're depressed, stressed, and whatever you riddle with, you are not that. That is a side effect or a symptom of something that's going mismanaged, untreated, unacknowledged in a way to where only you can have that conversation with yourself. That is one of the most courageous things that we could do is check our motherfucking selves before anybody had to pull up on me and say, you know what, John Doe, what you did say that was, you know what I'm saying, however that go, man, just being able to be able to sit back like, boom. If the shoe was on the other foot, that means their left would be my right type of bird's eye view. And from there, we would have a glimpse of what we can do and being able to own that. So when we do take these steps towards coming towards each other, we are more reinforced and helpful version of ourselves than when we parted ways. And if that was a gift or a jewel that was wrapped up with a bow to end this show, I gave it to you all. It is respect. It is a requirement, not a courtesy. Yes, they say respect is earned. Like we got to sit down around and wait on me to do 50 jumping jacks for you to earn my respect. No, respect is earned because we decided it was that way. You know what I mean? I'd rather respect you up front than treat you like a jerk up front and then expect you to respect me on the back end. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather give you the utmost respectful gestures up front to show you that you actually have access to that in a really genuine way than for me to have to be and did something to you. And now I expect you to respect me all the while I'm trying to kill you. Let's be honest of how we managing this shit. Y'all, it's stupid. It's backwards. It's backwards. Have some self-respect. You know what I'm saying? Self-respect look like, you know what? As much as I could smoke and drink and deep thought think, is that, you know, I can't spend all day doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's not helping nothing right now. You know, so all in the while, look, this accountability exercise, this thing we call life, more to life, getting the most out of life. We want to get the most out of this thing. It only comes in one thing, and that's in the name of love. The simplest of things, y'all. Love. And people cringe at that notion. That just means you need the most of it. I love you. Love yourself, and hopefully you could have the courage to put down your bullshit so you can love me back. And after that, ain't no telling how we know how to act because we ain't never did it before. All the fighting and chaos that's going on in the world, we know what that does. You know what I'm saying? All the destructive and self-destructive decisions that we can muster up, we've done them all. You understand? We've fought with everything from hands, sticks, and some more shit. You know what I'm saying? To where, okay, what haven't we done to resolve our differences? What haven't we done to really put it all down and we could put it all back together in a way that is actually sustainable and working down? And that is with love. We fought all the fights, y'all. We've cussed all the words. We done did all the doing. What we haven't done was actually practice love. Love songs was damn near gone. We see what kind of shit we got going on. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention. It's in the frequencies and energies and decision making processes. We are consciously choosing to not to practice one of the things that we have overwhelming abundance of. Damn. You don't have to go to Walmart to get it. You can't order it online. But it can be cultivated between us all. We ain't use that to its maximum potential yet, in no type of way, shape, or form as a global force. Because trust me, along the world, all the way over there in Australia, to all the way over here to the other side somewhere where y'all ain't know where the hell I'm pointing at, all of us want our families to be in the best position possible, unless they on some hating, self-destructive shit, which is common because of the practices, and we have a pretty good understanding why. We all want our children to grow up to outlive us to some degree or another, unless, so on and so forth. We all want to be the most successful, healthy, happy versions of ourselves, but we're doing the most destructive, confusing, and things along those lines. I don't have to go on and go on. You get it. Why? Somebody ask me why one more time. Please call me. Put it on screen. Ask each other. Ask yourself why. We fought all the fights. We already know what's gonna happen if I say something hurtful to Jane, and she gonna do like this and all the rest of that manipulative crazy shit that people practice that on purpose, but they don't practice loving themselves and each other on purpose. Don't nobody practice loving me on purpose like that. You know what I'm saying? People will try to trick the shit out of me with all kind of bad stuff and all kind of really interesting things that I gotta weave in between, and you know what I'm saying? My people from across the street and all that and some more. But don't nobody ever bring me some ice cold, man, shit, man. We got this and I love you. I ain't seen it yet. We practice that amongst each other. Then maybe we could start opening the door to healing and helping each other and ourselves. And that can very well be the conclusion to getting the most of life is loving everything that we touch, say, and do. Do it in love. We moving and in love. Love is a subject on its own because we don't know what the hell that means, a lot of us, because we so conditioned to exercise and entertain everything else. It's an exercise, y'all. It's an experience. It's a force. And you're entitled to it. You deserve it. I see the last 30 seconds on the time clock. I'm with you, mister. I appreciate y'all patience. And this is the Ask Jon Doe show. The number is on the screen. And send me a message. If you got a question that you want to bring up later on in another episode to come, put it in the chat. Let's do that, man. Don't be ashamed or intimidated by this conversation in no way, shape, or form. Because trust me, I'm just as human as you, and we all got things to do. And I want to help us make it the absolute best we can. Is what I'm saying.
And
Just
shout out
make
to
it
all our
good, y'all.
viewers. Shout out a lot of new viewers in the chat. Shout out to
Yeah,
everybody.
shout out. Yeah,
If you're watching this later than the broadcast was going live, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button, tell a friend to tell a friend. Good stuff, more life, more life, more life. Every week,
the most.
yes, every Wednesday, 9
Most.
p.m. Eastern time. Ask Jon Doe right here on Atlanta Cast Network.
Yeah.
Tap in every Monday night at 8 p.m. for the Last Take a Shot in the Dark Sports Podcast. Every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern will be Crucial Convos with Emery and Floor. And every Thursday, as usual, is Atlanta Carcast, the podcast. So yeah, we'll catch y'all next week. Any final words, my sir?
For sure. Man, my final words is, I want you to love yourself before you can tell me you love me, y'all. And this ain't even about me. This is for us. We've done all the foolishness. It's time we really pull it together. It's not like I'm saying something that none of us have heard before. That's some of the beauty in these notions that I express because it's like it's logical, practical, simple, easy. So why would we subject ourselves to the rest of this confusion? We got a choice. And the race is on. Ready, set, go. Catch up with Jon Doe. I'll holler at y'all. Peace and blessings, everybody. Look out for yourselves and each other out there.